this episode, we make our journey across several states to the California coast to visit with giant trees, including one of the tallest in the world. We even drive inside one of them. Redwood National Park has nearly 40,000 acres of old-growth redwoods, making up approximately 35% of the remaining old-growth redwoods in the entire world. With only a day to spend in this magical place, we had to be very selective in what we did. We opted for quality time along a couple of the top-rated trails, rather than trying to see it all.
Let's do it.
Yes, our first state. We are finally on the road and I'm so thrilled. After lots and lots of packing and trying to fit the car like a puzzle, we are loaded and on the road. We were up till 3 a.m. trying to get ready for this, and I can't wait for our adventure to begin. We're headed for our adventure for 2 weeks. I am so excited. Who else is excited? Me. The journey is the destination, especially when traveling with kids. You need lots of tools, whether it be books, games, or movies to pass the time. And it helps to have a sibling along for the ride.
We're watching a movie and I think I'm gonna lose a tooth. It's this one.
So we just crossed over into Utah, our second state, and that's a good news, bad news situation. The good news is we're staying in a hotel across the state lines. The bad news is the hotel we're staying in is not across the Utah state line, it's across the Nevada state line. So, sun's setting and we've got probably, 5 hours more driving to do before we get to our hotel for the night. It's going to be a late bedtime for everybody. Wahoo.
Oh my goodness, it is, it's 11:20 p.m. and we are waiting to gas up and hopefully make it to our hotel before 1 o'clock in the morning. Really tired, just want to get there, and now it's raining. Nevada, trying to find the cheapest gas. $5.23 for mid-grade. Here we are. What are you reading? What is that?
A little sign card.
We're heading towards the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Our first gonna see lots more, and they're gonna be much taller.
Speed limits in California are very high, 65 miles an hour. And yeah, it seems like it should be more of like a 55-mile-an-hour country road.
Your love is like a holiday, somewhere I can breathe.
It's so sad seeing all the burnt trees. I know California has had so many fires lately.
You bring me sweet relief. I wanna take you somewhere.
I was going to the bathroom on the side of the road. I'm taking a video. Oh my gosh, that must be why he was going so fast. Because he really had to go.
Even trying to be modest about it either.
No, wouldn't you like get behind the car or something? Go in the bushes? We are slowly making our way to the
All I
coast.
know to do. I need to feel your freedom.
This is the most that we're ever gonna pay for gas, hopefully. Ever. We made it to the ocean! After 2 days of driving, we finally reached the coast just before dark, and we couldn't have been happier. We found a peaceful place to stop for a quick peek before continuing northbound to the Newton B. Drury Parkway and our campground for the night. Oh, it smells like the ocean.
You are here,
I'm there.
and we're going.
We're going to Elk Prairie.
So, right in here.
Darling, say you will go north through the lights and watch the snow fall. East to the city, we can see it all. South to the ocean, west to the mountains. It doesn't matter.
Look at the ocean.
As long as we're together, what we don't know won't stop us now. I'll take you anywhere but here.
Back to the car to get warm. We're headed back. Oh, it's cold. It feels like it's like 30 degrees. What's the temperature? 52 in California equates to 32.
About tomorrow. So come on, baby, say you'll take me.
North through the lights and watch the snow fall. East to the city, we can see it all. South to the ocean, west to the mountains. It doesn't matter where we go.
We are finally approaching our campground. I cannot wait.
You have arrived at your destination.
It's 9 o'clock. We're trying to figure out if we should do plan A or plan B.
Crystal planned 2 plans depending on how our time's doing. We're running on the plan B time, but like she said this morning, do we regret not going on the tall trees loop if we don't do that? So, trying to decide.
So we'll see more if we do plan B, but it'll be a little bit of this and that. But if we do plan A, we'll get to go to the tall trees. That's, you know, a special thing. But I don't know what to do. We need more time here. 7 herds of Roosevelt elk live in the Redwoods. Prairie Creek Redwood State Park, where we spent the night, is an excellent place to spot them, and we got to see quite a few of them from the safety of our car.
We get our special access to the forbidden area.
It's not forbidden. It's just privileged.
Forbidden for
So you used our special code that we got from reserving a permit on the National Park website to go down the Tall Trees Road. I am so excited that we get to go do the Tall Trees. I felt like we would be missing out on something if we didn't try it. So we are 2 hours behind schedule. Go figure. That's typical. And we are going to do the Tall Trees. It is, what I say, is exclusive to if you have a permit or not, and if you planned ahead, which I did. We're gonna drive down this road that is for no trailers or RVs. You just drive your car down it. Driving down the road was a perfect time for the boys to work on their Junior Ranger books. The Junior Ranger program is offered by most national parks and is a really fun way for kids to interact with and learn more about the parks. Upon completion, the book is brought to a ranger at the Visitor Center for review before a Junior Ranger pledge is done and a badge is given. Daniel's doing jumping jacks, warming up, getting ready for a hike, and trying to get warm, right?
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's almost 11 o'clock. Let's start our day.
We are at the Tall Trees trailhead ready to go on our adventure of a 4-mile hike with 800 feet elevation gain. And the 800 feet is when we come back up. So let's hope we have the energy for that to get back up here. And this is a special hike to do because they only allow 50 parties, groups of people, to do it each day.
So the redwoods, a way to identify them is to look at their needles, and they have small fuzzy-ish needles, and they have they look like leaves from a distance, and they have new growth on them that is very light green, like lime.
Now look at that massive tree up ahead, boys.
This one survived a fire. It's remarkable. All the mud. This is so cool, walking into a redwood tree. David, how many years is it? How old is it?
Probably 2,000 at least.
You think?
There's like little tiny rings, ding, 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 all the way. And we'll probably this one.
Wowie. This one is like super, super huge. Like incredibly huge. Oh my gosh. We're walking through the redwoods, going to the tall trees that are how many feet? 350.
My favorite snails and slugs, my favorite island is the banana slug.
As we learned in the boys' junior ranger books, the rings on the tree determine how old it is. The narrow rings show seasons of drought when the tree grew slow, and the wide rings show seasons of fast growth. Steve estimated this tree was 250 years old. What does a black mark mean?
There's a fire. This should be like in my side of the mountain. Yeah. Someone probably lived in
How big is this space?
Almost 6 foot, so it's like
And standing up,
7 feet. 8 feet at the base.
you could be like, what, twice your size and fit.
Yeah.
My gosh. We are walking through the tall trees, and this is amazing. I love the bark. It has so much texture. And they're so tall. This is a redwood, and I love the bark. It is so that's my favorite thing about the bark. About the tree, is the bark. It just has so much texture. I've never seen a spider this big before. It's huge, and it's carrying something. Guys, look at this huge, disgusting spider.
The tall tree. Rumors of great timber by area loggers led National Geographic Society naturalist Paul Zoll to this remote creek valley in 1963. On one of his trips, Zoll stopped on the cutover ridge just across from this grove to take some pictures. While catching my breath, I scanned the treetops before me and suddenly started. One particular redwood rose above the others like a giant candle.
It was once the world's tallest tree, and now it's the 34th tallest tree in the world, because I believe it was in 1994 the top part of it broke off, which you can't even tell because it's way, way up there. I have no idea the height of it, but it's tall. We made it, and now we're trekking back up the trail. We had our snack.
Still need to make lunch and have lunch and make it to the north end of the park apparently before the ranger booth closes at 5. So probably gonna have time for one more stop and then get on the road for our next camp. So we just finished the tall trees hike. My Strava had it at 3 hours and 15 minutes that it took us, and it said 5.25 miles, which is quite a bit longer than the trail's supposed to be. I think the trail is about maybe 3.5 miles, 1.25 down roughly, and about a mile loop at the bottom. So what did you guys think of the hike?
Nice. I think it was fascinating seeing all those old redwoods that
Yeah.
just been
Like
around
the
for
one
like 2,000
like
years.
the one with the big hole in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
the
a
one
cave.
somebody had a fire in there, like a campfire, right?
Yeah.
So definitely a sight to see, worth checking out.
Definitely recommend it.
In Redwoods.
We're gonna do what trail, Daniel?
Ladybird. Johnson Grove.
Ladybird Johnson Grove. All right, let's go. There she is.
This is fun. We get to cross a bridge. On this unique trail, we go from a second growth forest at the parking lot to an old growth forest after crossing the bridge. At only 1.5 miles long, it's a perfect hike for younger kids.
Dude spotted this tree that's all hollowed out from a fire. Crazy. And yet it's still standing.
There's two little seeds, and they start growing, and they collide with each other when they're at a young stage, and then they keep growing bigger until they're really old.
And what does that make?
A double tree.
Double
That's in
tree.
half, like over there.
Like up front here?
Mhm.
Yeah. Splits off and goes way up.
I'm so glad we have our layers, like my blanket fleece, because it is cold.
It's chilly.
cold.
It's that
Humidity.
coastal air.
Yeah.
Looks like a little hobbit cave or something, doesn't it?
She was standing in front of this sign.
Read it to us, David.
Ladybird Johnson Grove, dedicated in honor of Mrs. Johnson by Richard Nixon, President of the United States, August 27, 1969.
Redwood National Park was established in 1968, and the following year, President Nixon dedicated this particular grove of trees along this trail to the former First Lady, known as Lady Bird Johnson. At the time, extreme logging was occurring all the way up to this area, which was originally at the park's boundary.
I think every one of us walked out more serene than happy.
We were so privileged to get to see another old-growth redwood forest, especially considering only 5% of the world's old-growth redwoods remain. It's still growing and so healthy. After we took in all the neat textures and sights of this forest, we headed back to the trailhead and stopped at the nearby Prairie Creek Visitor Center for the boys to get their junior ranger badges.
How was it today? Good. Do you do any hikes?
Yeah, we did.
What did you see?
We saw a snake.
Whoa, you saw a snake? This is nice. This is looking good. All right, David, right, and Danny. Welcome back. Okay. Are you ready to do your Junior Ranger pledge? Mm-hmm. All right, you're gonna put your hand up. Repeat after me. All right. I'm a Redwood Ranger.
I'm a Redwood Ranger.
My job is never done.
My job is done.
I promise to keep on learning.
I promise to keep on learning.
And share it with everyone.
Share with
Woo! Congrats.
Yay! We got the ranger badges, check. We saw Roosevelt elk, check. We saw a banana slug, or actually banana slugs, check. We saw big trees, check.
We saw a snake. Check. We got some banana slugs. Check. We got some souvenirs. Check.
And we saw the rhododendron flowers, the pink ones, bloomed.
And we had a good time.
Check.
Check.
We are driving the Newton B. Drury Highway. It is 10 miles long, and it's crazy to think that all these redwoods in 10 miles, that it used to span 200 miles, and now it's just down to 10 because of all the logging back in the day. We're gonna drive through an 800-year-old redwood tree that somebody carved in 1976 safely, and they didn't hit any of the critical areas, so the tree is still growing. This is crazy. I hope we fit. I hope we don't like tear off our tent. It's like a puzzle. Will it fit? You're good. You're not gonna hit the top. The sides look good if you go straight on this side. It's a tight squeeze, holy cow. And it fits perfectly. It feels like somebody polished it. Thousands of people touching it, like in the caves where they get all oily. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Watch out. You're driving through a tree!
Never been in a redwood before.
See you on our next adventure, where we arrive to the Oregon coast, known as the People's Coast, because most of the coast is accessible to the public. For more than a week, we soak in all the wonderful things this beautiful place has to offer. We got to get our $5 worth. This is the third time through with the 4Runner. Oh, yeah! I just ran through a tree. That's taller than me.
A way to identify the sequoias is
The redwoods.
the redwoods.
1377.
Yep. And
Wow.